Hello and welcome to this podcast. My name is Emma and this is a podcast where I share all about my knitting. Welcome back or welcome if you're a new viewer. Today I have 3 other crafts other than knitting. I have some sewing to show you and also some ceramics and some basketry, I think it's called, which is quite new. So I'm quite excited to share that with you. I just came back from running, so my hair is still a little bit wet, but I thought that if I started doing something else before I started filming, I would push it back and I wouldn't have time. So here I am with my wet hair, but I thought it was the right time to film for me. So I'm here and I will talk about the other crafts a bit later, like at the end of the podcast. So if you're not interested, you can skip that. And I haven't prepared anything today, so I hope it's gonna be okay. I'm sitting on my chair that is turning, and so I hope it's not gonna be. I'm not gonna do that too much, and so that it's gonna be okay for you. And let's start. I'm looking here because I have everything here. And yeah, I haven't prepared anything, so I hope I will remember everything, like every name, every pattern name, every designer name, and the yarn and everything. We'll see. So my first finished object that I have is the one that I'm wearing, and it's actually the only one. And this is the Darjeeling blouse by Trust the Mojo that I knit with the yarn Alfama from Rosários 4. And I'm gonna show it to you. I'm going to talk to you about it and then I'm going to show you a bit more of the details. So I don't think I took the rest of the ball that I had, but I used almost 4 balls and a half of the yarn, which is 50. The yarn is in 50-gram balls, so I used a bit more than 200, like 220, 30, and it's 100% linen, so it's not like as nice to knit with as wool, I think, but I really liked it. I held the yarn double or single. See, now I already can't remember. No, single. I held the yarn single. It's a fingering weight yarn. This is a bottom-up tee. She calls it a blouse, but yeah. And so we start with the bottom here, and we knit until the armpits, and then we start the 2 sleeves. We put them on hold, and then we join everything together, and then we continue knitting to the top, still back and forth because it's open at the front, and then we have those shoulders here, which I really liked. And yeah, so the lace at the sleeves and at the bottom of the tee are the same. And for me, it was, so we start with a provisional cast on, and it was a little bit hard to understand why we needed to do that. And yeah, and then I think I knitted a little bit too tight for the lace part, because the tee is a little bit tighter at the bottom and on the sleeves. So when I blocked it, I had to stretch it quite a bit so it would be wide enough. and it would be comfortable, especially around my arms. I did the smallest size, and I think that in the pattern she doesn't recommend any ease, so I didn't really know how much positive ease I should choose. So I choose the smallest size, which should have given me 2 centimeters of positive ease. But at the moment, my bust is still a little bit bigger than it usually is. So I have 2 centimeters of negative ease. And I can feel it. It will be more comfortable when I will have my bust back to its kind of normal circumference. But you can see that it's a little bit tight here on this button. And there are 3 sizes, 3 lengths that are available in the pattern, cropped, medium, and long length. And I was sure that I wouldn't want to do the cropped one, but I wasn't sure about the medium or the long one. And I chose it while I was knitting it. I was like, okay, this is still too short. I should be doing the long one. But I thought that it was really hard to know which one to choose. And as you can see, I made the long one, and it's still quite cropped, I think. I have a high-waisted jeans, and as you can see, I'm a little bit too small, but my button band, my belly button is here. Those are my jeans, and see, it arrives. I hope you can see here. Oops. So it's still quite cropped. I couldn't wear that if I didn't want to show my belly. I couldn't wear that with low-waisted jeans or pants or anything. So I do like it like that, but I have to wear something high-waisted with it because, well, I don't want to show my belly. And also, this, I wasn't sure because at the end of the pattern, it said to sew the buttons and then to block it. And I still had a hole underneath the arms because when you join in the round, you don't join everything because we had to, I think, bind off some stitches. I think if I remember correctly, it was in the summer that I arrived at this part, so I'm not sure I remember correctly. And then I still had the hole underneath the arms, so I had to sew it. And so I thought that I missed something in the pattern, and it just doesn't say to sew the underarms. So I wasn't sure how to sew it, and I just passed through one stitch and then the other one. I put side by sides, flat side by sides with the right side on top, and then I put the needle through the first stitch from one side and then through the first stitch from the other side, second and then second. I hope it's understandable, but yeah, I hope you understand that. But yeah, I wasn't sure how to sew it, and I think it's quite nice like this. So yeah. And what else? To finish it, it was quite long because it's an eye cord that goes from the bottom of one part, goes there around the collar and then down. And so it took quite a long time. I think it took me at least 4 hours. So I did it not at the same time, but in 2 or 3 days, I think. And yeah, I was happy to finish it. I don't know if you could see it, but the buttons, I chose some, is it pearly buttons? I don't know how this is called, but like this. And I'm still a bit unsure about them, but I wanted to sew them on and so I could wear it, but I'm still not sure. And I don't know which other ones I could put on this, because I feel like those ones are quite visible and I would have like something a little bit less visible. But I thought that something grey would be a bit weird, so I'm not sure. And also, I don't know why, but when I bought the buttons, it was on an online store and I only bought 5. Maybe it was because at that moment I thought I was going to do the medium length. And so I went through my stash and I found one that is a bit too small and a bit different, but it's kind of the same. And I went to my local yarn store and she didn't have, she had those buttons, but not that size. So this is 1.5 centimeters of diameter, and the ones that she had were 1.2 centimeters. So they were too small. That would have been weird, but I already had one a bit smaller, and yeah, and the pattern said that it was 15mm button, so that we needed for this. So I put a smaller one at the bottom and I think it's okay. And yeah, I quite liked it. I like it. I haven't worn it yet. It's the first time because I wanted it to look good for me to be able to show it to you, and all nice, because this linen, I feel like it's, I don't know, by the end of the day, it won't look as nice as when I just blocked it. So I wanted to show it to you like this, and now I can wear it and I'm really happy about it. And it's really comfortable actually. So yeah, happy about that. Now for the works in progress. Maybe I can start with this one that you've already seen. This is the Vilma top by Gregoria Fibers that I'm knitting with Douro from Rosários 4, which is 100% non-superwash organic wool from Portugal. Here it is. And I'm knitting, this is a light fingering yarn, and I'm knitting it double. And last time I showed it to you, I was, let me see. So it's a bottom-up construction. And so you knit the first part from here, you knit to the underarms, then you start knitting one front, you put the stitches on hold, then the second front, you put the stitches on hold, and then the rest of the back, and we sew the shoulders with a 3 needles bind off. So last time I showed it to you, I was just under the last lace repetition, so around here, and since then I finished the back, so the shoulders, and then pick, oh yeah, I did quite a lot of progress on that one. I already sewed the collar too, here. It's not blocked, so here, and sewed the arms. I did the ribbing around the, here, the armholes on both sides. It's not really easy to see at the moment. And then I put back the stitches on the needles from the bottom of the vest to continue knitting top down until the end of the body. And if I can show it to you like this. It's not blocked, so you know, lace unblocked. It's not really easy to show. I think you can see it a little bit easier like this, maybe, if I don't know, with the holes and the light. And I have to say, I'm not sure why we have to make a provisional cast on, knit bottom up, and then take back the stitches on the needles and knit top down for the end of the body. I thought, because I didn't read the pattern until the end when I started, I thought that it was because this way we could actually adjust the length, but she doesn't say it in the pattern, so I'm not sure why. Because she tells us to do a certain number of repetitions, so we make the kind of garter stitch here, rows, and then we continue with the lace part at the bottom here that you of course can't really see correctly. Yes, maybe you can. And she tells us to do a certain number of repetitions and then to finish it. So she doesn't say to knit the length that we want. So I'm not sure about that. So if you've knitted and if you know why we do it this way, that would be interesting to know. Sorry, we were interrupted. So as I was saying, I'm not sure why we have to do it this way. I think it's still quite nice to be able to adjust the length if we want to this way. It's easier, I think, when it's top down, so I think it's quite nice. But if you've knitted, if you know why this pattern is written like that, that would be interesting to know. And so I have to finish. I think I have a few more rows to do at the bottom and then do the button bands. And I'm done with it, and I can't wait to wear it. And also for the shoulders, this is a reversed 3-needle bind off, I think. That makes a little braid like this. And I didn't know that it would do that. In the pattern, we can't see it. We can't see that shoulder detail on the photos. And so I wasn't sure what it would look like exactly. And when I was making it, I was like, I'm not sure, this is a bit too much. There's a lot of lace on the pattern already. So maybe this was a bit too much. And now that I look at it, I start to really like it. So I'm glad I did that. But if you want to knit this pattern, be aware that the bind up that she makes you do is looking like that. And I'm using, those are my 3rd and 4th balls. And I won't need more than that. So less than 200 grams of wool, which is gonna be really light. So this is gonna be really comfortable to wear, I think. Now the next one, I'm going to show you this one. Well, those two ones actually, because I have 2 of them, which are similar. And so I taught how to knit to 2 friends. One of them already knew a little bit because she learned how to knit a really long time ago, and so I taught them they wanted to learn, and so we chose together. I thought that a beanie, sorry, the yarn is all tangled, so it's a bit hard, but I thought that a beanie would be a great option to start with because it's not too long to make, because a scarf can be a little bit too long and you always knit the same thing, and it can take too much time. I think a beanie is a lot faster, so a lot more rewarding. You don't get bored with it. So I thought it was nice, and it's still in the round, it's still the same stitch, so easier than a whole garment or mittens or socks or something like that. So I sent them a few pictures of beanies that I already knitted and that I thought would be great options for them. And so they chose the iris hat from Sari Nordlund, and they liked the ribbing and the fluffy part from the mohair, which could be adapted to any other pattern. But yeah, and so I knitted this pattern a long time ago, so I didn't really remember how it was knitted. So it's a top-down hat, and so they made the swatch and they were ready to go. So I told them that I would just start the crown at just the beginning of it, because I don't know how it's called, but can't remember the name of it. But you start with a hole that you can close. Which side is this? It's this one. So you see there's a hole here, and when you here pull on the yarn, you close the top of the hat. So I told them, I can start that, and I make the first few rounds. And then while I was knitting it, I was like, ooh, this is a little bit too hard for beginners for a first project, because you have to make the increases, and it's like since it's a ribbed hat, you have to make increases with purls and stitches, purls and knits. And so it was a little bit too hard. So what we decided was that I would knit the crown with the increases, and then they would knit the rest of the body of the beanie. And for me, it doesn't take a long time to do that. So I thought it was a great option. So they wouldn't make any mistake to start with. And yeah, the other people I taught how to knit, they started with, well, one of them started with socks. It was a little bit too hard, I have to say. And two other ones started with a beanie, and it was a bottom up, which was easier because I think that when you start just knitting in the round, always it was in stockinette stitch, so easier too. And when you knit in the round, stockinette stitch, and you arrive at the crown, then you really know how to knit at this point, like you've gotten used to it. So I think it's a little bit easier this way than top down, but then top down it will be easier for them to adjust the length that they want. Anyway, so they both chose the same yarns but not the same colors, and I think it's really interesting to see this. So for this one, I think I still have one more round of increase, and that's it. And so she chose those yarns together. So this is more pink than what you can see. I think you can see it a little bit purple, but she chose a purple yarn to go with it. And those are not my colors, but I love knitting with them. It makes me really happy to knit with those colors. And as you can see, it makes this marled yarn that is really beautiful, I think. This, and you can see a little bit the increases, but not so much because it's a mold yarn. And the other one, oops, I lost the ball of yarn. The other one shows those colors, which are exactly my colors. And I also love knitting with them because I love those colors. But the knitting is a little less fun, I think. I love it because I love the colors, but I thought the other one was really fun to knit with. And here you can see a lot more, the increases. Maybe you can see a little bit better if I open it like this. Maybe I can close it a little bit. This, I didn't go as far as the other one with this one yet. but you can see a lot more the pattern with the increases. And so I'm knitting with 1 strand of fingering white yarn and 1 strand of silk mohair. They needed 1 ball of this one and 2 balls of silk mohair. And so they took the second ball of the silk mohair. We already started knitting with them with the 2 balls when we were together. And I remember this one because this is Douro from Rosários 4. I feel like I'm knitting all the time with this one, but I love it. And I think I have the colorways, but I have, so this one should be number 1 and the other one is 7. I have it here. Yep. The purple one is colorway 9. Is that possible? I think so, but I'm not sure about that. Maybe it's 9, I think. And this is this one. And for the silk mohair, I can't remember what they took. I don't have the ball band anymore, and it's not a brand that I knew. I have never knitted with this one, and so I'm sorry, I can't say which yarn it is. It's just like basic silk. Like, is it silk? I'm not even sure. But basic one, lace mohair with I think 210 grams per and 210 meters per 25 grams. So this one is like half a finished object for me, but half a work in progress because, well, I've done my part on this one, so you're not gonna see it anymore, but it's not done yet. And I've already knitted one for my partner and he really likes it, and I think it makes the perfect like really basic beanie, you know, ribbed hat. And I start to think that I may knit one for myself like this because I still don't have any beanie and it could be useful sometimes. Usually I don't wear any because I have my helmet on because I'm always on my bike, but sometimes it could be useful. So maybe one day I will knit one for myself. The next work in progress that I have is, it's behind me. I told you in the last episode that I started knitting a little scarf, and with this yarn. This is La Ferme des Cycles, and this is their thinner yarn, which is a DK weight. And I had knitted something and then ripped off everything because I didn't like the way that I made the increases. And now I do like it. I was making some tests because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And anyway, it's not blocked and it still have a little bit of the, how is it called again? The grease from the sheeps. It's their own sheep, so yeah. So it's gonna change a lot after blocking because it's gonna lose its kind of yellowish color and it's gonna show a lot more the details. So here it is. It's a little scarf with some lace on it. And here it is. And this here, this stitch marker shows not stitch marker, progress keeper, shows the middle of the scarf, I think. So I made half of it like this, and I still have the second half to make. And I think it's the perfect, maybe I can show it to you, but the perfect length and width to just put around like this. Maybe I should make it a little bit longer than that. I'm not sure. I think so. Because I would like to be able to finish this turn and make a little knot so it doesn't go away, it doesn't fall. And I think maybe I need to make it a little bit longer than just this, so I can make a knot easily. But yeah. And I really like it. This is not a pattern, it's the pattern that I made, something that I made because I had this in mind and I wanted it like this, but I didn't take any pattern. But tell me if you're interested about that, maybe I can write a pattern for it. So here it is. Next one, I have it behind me. The next one is he's taking me a long time. So those are the mittens for my son, but it's taking a lot of time because, well, I started with this yarn here because he loves pink and he wanted something pink. Here. So since I didn't have enough, I have just this ball, which is less than 50 grams because it was, I had 2 balls to make my partners some socks. So this is a sock yarn. And so I used a little bit more than 50 grams. I think I used like 60 or 65 grams. So I had this left. So I knew I wouldn't have enough. I knew I wanted to hold it double because I wanted the mittens to be warm, and fingering weight yarn wouldn't have been warm enough. So I wanted to hold it double. So what I did for the rest is that I held it with the rest of my yarn from the Moelleuse blouse that I knitted, and I think I left it. Oh no, I have it here. So this is the alpaca silk from Drops. And I knit the second size, so there's a toddler size, children, and then adults. And I'm knitting the pattern is the World's Simplest Mittens by Tinka Knits, and it's too big because I knit the children's size when my son is a toddler. So it's too big, and I didn't want to start again with this yarn, so I started again with another one, which is bigger. And I don't know what this yarn is. This is a yarn that I found at my local yarn store. It didn't have a ball band. She just told me it was 40% alpaca and 60% wool, or 30% alpaca, 30 or 40% alpaca. Anyway, and so it's quite squishy, it's quite plump, so it's quite nice, and it's a DK weight yarn. I think it's 210 meters per 100 grams. So this is 50 grams. So the first thing that I made was I held it double. And in the pattern, it's said that you have 4 options: fingering, DK, iron, and chunky, I think. I took the iron one, knit the toddler size. It was not, and I tried it on my son's hand and it was too big, and I was like, I knitted almost the whole mitten, the whole first mitten. I started the decreases and I wanted to ensure that it was the right length, and well, it was too big because my gauge wasn't right. Holding it double made it bigger than the iron gauge. It made more of a chunky gauge. So I was like, oh, it's okay, I can just go back. So I wouldn't have enough anyway with just one ball, so I went back to my local yarn store, bought a second ball, and then I decided that it was too big, it wouldn't be comfortable. So I started a third time. I don't know why I did that. Anyway, so I thought that I would make the DK version. Why, I don't know now. Because chunky was a little bit too thick, I think. So I started again, and here I am. And here it is. I started the Doble size, and this is just the ribbing for the rest. And he tried it on. He was like, I asked him, is it comfortable? And he was like, no. I was like, why? He said, just, it's not comfortable. And I was like, okay. I don't know why. I think he wanted just to go to bed at that moment, so he didn't really want to put a mitten on. Anyway, and I think it's still a little bit, it's quite stretchy, but I think that maybe I should do it again with bigger needles to cast on. I did the old Norwegian cast on, and so it's quite elastic. But I think that if we want it to be really comfortable for this winter and next winter, it would be better if I start again. And I'm not that far compared to the other one, so I think it's okay. So here I am, and I will only need one ball, I think. So now I don't know what I'm gonna do with the second ball. But anyway, this is not so much like, it took me so much time. I would have finished those mittens by now if I had done everything correctly from the beginning. But I feel like it's okay. I don't really mind. I mean, that's life. It's knitting. It's not always perfect, and yeah, maybe sometimes we have to start again 3-4 times. And I felt like I didn't have to make a swatch with that because, well, the mitten is a swatch. So anyway, so that's the end of the story with the mittens. I hope that with the next one it's gonna be okay. I'm not so much in a rush to finish them because it's not really cold now. As you can see, I'm wearing like short sleeves and no jumper, so at that moment this week it's quite warm. So yeah, and that's it for the works in progress. And I just wanted to show you 2 things because I wanted to make my son some slippers. I feel like he's at an age where it starts to be a bit harder to knit things for him. Because I had to, like a few months ago when I was knitting him some slippers, I had more yarn. So I knew that I would be able to knit more slippers for him because he's growing quite rapidly. So he would need slippers a few months later. Anyway, so I wanted to knit him some slippers for the winter because it's starting to be a little bit cold, and I showed him those 2 balls of yarn and I was like, which one do you want? Do you want the like this one or this one, like mustard color, or like, is it wine color? I don't know how this one is called. Anyway, I do think they look quite good together too. Anyway, I told him, do you want this one or this one? He was like, no, I don't want this one, and I don't want this one either. And I was like, which one do you want? I don't want one. And like, that he's still saying that his feet are cold when he's walking barefoot, so he needs some slippers. I just don't know if I'm starting to knit with one of the 2 balls or if I start with something else. He likes colors, so yeah. I don't know, maybe once he has the slippers he doesn't mind which color it is. I think he just doesn't want to choose maybe, so I don't know. And I think that's it. Before the acquisition, I just wanted to show you my work in progress in sewing. Or maybe I finish with the knitting part. Maybe I will finish that. I'm looking around me. Yes. So last time I showed you this yarn, which is 100% alpaca, DK weight yarn, 100 grams for one skein. You can see that it's really it's not stiff at all. It's really soft. And this is a really dark purple, and I showed it to you last time because my mom bought it and she forgot it here at my place. And I went back to my local yarn store and bought 2 skeins of this one because I found it so beautiful. And I wanted to make, I think it's called a neck warmer or neck, and maybe a beanie to go with it. And I thought that with 2 skeins, maybe I could knit something for me and for my toddler. So this is the plan with this yarn. And the second skein is right here. I don't know if you can see it on my bagboard. The second acquisition that I have is this. I think it's around 1 kilo of yarn. And I'm so happy I bought this. This is just, it's not spun. It's just yarn. It's like unspun. It's still a yarn because you can see that you have this here. And initially it was made to knit with the arms and to make like a really big scarf or something like. And so it was at my local yarn store. And so since she wasn't selling it for that, she put it on sale, and this was 10 euros. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take it, because I was looking for some yarn to stuff my dolls. Well, dolls. I've made 1 doll for my son, and I wanted to make some more because his nanny wanted some. She wanted 4. Haven't started them yet. But yeah, and I wanted to make some for my son too, another one at least. And also I thought that for small items like decoration or stuff like this, it could be nice. So I was looking for some wool to put inside, and I didn't really know where to find it, and I found this one. So I thought that it was a great option. And also, once I came home with this, I thought that it would be a great option maybe to learn how to spin. I started spinning a few years ago, before I had my son, and I liked it. I had a drop spindle, and I think it's called, and I did spin just a little bit, but not so much, so I wanted to start again. And so I thought that maybe I could try with that. I don't know if some of you are spinners. Maybe you can tell me if this is a good idea, or if it's going to be too hard and I won't be able to spin correctly with that, especially as I'm a beginner. So yeah. So this is a big acquisition. And the other one, it's not an acquisition for myself, but I told you in the last episode that we were doing a test knit with my sister for a little vest, for a baby vest. And so this is a skein of her yarn, and here, so the ball band is not in a nice shape anymore, because last night this was on the couch. I received it yesterday. This was on the couch, and my partner, I don't know why, he was so excited, and he was like, "Oh, this is a new yarn. You didn't have it. I've never seen it before." And he just opened it and kind of ripped the ball band because he was excited to see it. So anyway, it's not really nice anymore. But yeah, this is the called La Moelleuse, and it's 50 grams for 65 meters. And this is so squishy. So this is to make the vest, and I'm not gonna make it, it's for someone else. I just received the yarn, so I have to pass it to the person who's gonna make the test, and she can start. I think I'm gonna see her tomorrow, so she can start tomorrow. And just one moment. Sorry, we're interrupted again. So I was just saying that I was not gonna knit with this one, but I'm still gonna knit the vest, and I'm gonna try to knit it with some starch yarn, just to see how it goes with another yarn too. And also I have some yarn. This is not a new yarn, but I've had it for a few years now, and I don't know, it's quite special for me. And those are like mini skeins. I can show that to you like this, it's easier. And I love them. So those are from the Knitting Owl. And it's 100% wool, non-superwash, 300 meters for 100 grams, and those are 20 grams skeins, and those are botanically dyed. So I really like them, and I've had them for a few years now because I don't know what to do with them. I thought about making some socks, but I thought that they would wear out quite quickly, so I wasn't sure about that. And I think I would like to use them together because I think that the colors are quite nice together. But I don't know what to do with them, so if you have any idea, let me know. This is a sport weight, I think. Yeah, sport weight. So I have 100 grams. And I don't think I want to make a beanie, for example, with it. I wouldn't wear it. So yeah, if you have any idea of what I can do with that, I would be interested to know. And okay, I think that's it for the knitting part. So for the sewing, since I'm in my vest era, I'm sewing a vest. And here it is. So just about the pattern, it's a pattern from Maeli, I think it's called. I'm looking around because I have the pattern somewhere. And Maeli, yes, Maeli. And maybe I can show it to you how it's written, but I will write it on the screen. But this is the name, and the pattern name is Jeanne, and it's a quilted vest. So everything was new for me. Sewing a vest, never done that. I sewed a jacket already, but not lined. So I did the quilting and I loved it. It took forever, but I absolutely loved it, and it was so nice to make. So this is it. And so this is 100% cotton. And the other part, it's reversible. This is 100% linen. And at first I thought that, and the inside is 100% cotton, which was not the easiest to find, I think. I found a lot of, is it called lining? No, the inside that makes it squishy. I don't know how it's called. And I found a lot with polyester. I didn't want that, so this is 100% cotton, and I found another one with wool, so I think I'm gonna make a second one for winter. And anyway, I thought that the whole vest would be quilted, but if I had done that, I should have put some, like we would have seen the sewing here, and I would have had to put some bias, is it called, on top of it, and on the sides, which could have been good too, but since it was the first time that I did it, I thought, go simple, you'll do it for the second one. And I think it still looks good like this. So yeah, haven't finished it yet because I did most of it actually, but I still have to put the bias around everything here, and like the front and around the collar. I did put it already around the armholes and both of them, and that's it. And then I'm a bit unsure because there's in the pattern it says that we can also put some bias at the front to make a knot. I'm not sure about that. What do you think? Should I put it or not? I really like it. I really like how it looks like without it, but I think it would be quite comfortable to wear something that I can close. I'm not sure. So this is a free pattern, and I have to say it was a bit hard to understand. I'm doing it, I'm sewing it with a friend. It was her first sewing project, and so I started a little bit before, and it was too hard to understand. Like, I didn't really understand that we had to quilt only one side, so I sewed everything together, like the 3 parts, and then I had to undo everything because it wasn't the right way to do it. So what I did was that I had already had a pattern from Artesane, and I will write it on the screen. And this is a pattern, it's an online platform where you can find a lot of classes, video classes. So there was this one where you could have the pattern of the vest, quilted vest, and also the class on how to sew it on video. But the vest was with pockets, and it was a bit longer to make, so I thought that I would make it another time. But actually I think it would have been a little bit better. So I watched this class because I had this pattern. This is not a free pattern, and it's only in French. I think, yes, it's only in French. But I watched this class to sew this vest. But it made me learn quite a lot of things, so it was interesting. But yeah, I can't wait to wear it, and maybe I can show it to you. Looks like this. And I think that for the next one that I will make, you can see here, it would be looking a little bit better if I didn't have that much fabric under the arm. So like this, it would look a little bit better, I think, than like this. It's poking out a little bit. But yeah. And so maybe I can put a little knot here to close, a bit more here, like to close it. Or not, I'm not sure about that yet. And I really like the fact that it's reversible, but I do think that I prefer this way. So this was my sewing project. Now, the ceramic part, and I think it goes quite well with it. This is actually the mug that I was drinking with, and this is ceramic that I made, and underneath it there's a drink with it, but you can see I made my signature here, and I really like the bottom of it, and I love it. I made it on a bud as well. I have another one. I actually have 4 of them like this. This one doesn't have any, I don't know how it's called, on the side. And the 3 others have one. And yeah, maybe I can show it to you a little bit better here. This. and inside it's just white. And I love them. And I have a fifth one that's... why haven't I finished it? I think I have to put the glaze on it and then fire it in the kiln. Haven't done that yet. So yeah. And the last thing that I wanted to show you was... here it is. The basket that I made. Bottom here. And inside I can put my... It's big enough so I can put just a small project in it. So I can put 1 ball of yarn, the needles, and the project, I think. Or maybe 2 balls, well, 100 grams. And I'm so happy with it. And I want to make more. I want to learn how to make bigger ones and a lot more of them because I loved doing that. And I think it's called basketry, but I'm not sure about that. So now the thing that I want to learn is how to find the materials to do it in the nature and then dry it, prepare it, and weave it. So yeah. I just wanted to show it to you because I think that it goes quite well with the knitting because I can put my knitting projects in it. So yeah. So that's it for today's podcast, today's episode, I think. And I'm looking around. I think I didn't forget anything. Otherwise, well, it will be for the next episode. So I hope that you enjoyed it and I will see you next time. Bye.